Fredericton West Hanwell.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And unfortunately, due to the conduct of this government, we do have a lot of concerns about the future of New Brunswick on this side of the House. But my question now is for the Minister of Energy, and I'm wondering if the Minister would now tell the House why it is that he felt it was appropriate, and why did he allow previous Liberal Premier Sean Graham to lead a tour of Chinese investors through Mactaquac Dam.
The Honourable Minister of Energy and Mines.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Look, I mean, what individuals around New Brunswick, what they do for a living, and that's none of my concern, Mr. Speaker. What I can tell you is that we take Mactaquac is going through, or with MB Power is going through a very public, open and transparent process. There's major decision needs to be made in the very near future, and that's an independent process from government. We're letting them do their job, and by the end of 2016, they'll provide a recommendation to the government of New Brunswick, and at that time, we'll have to make a decision.
Member for Fredericton West Hanwell.
Again, thank you, Mr. Speaker. We do share this government's concerns about the future of the province, and certainly about the future of Mactaquac Dam. But it is important to note that this is the same Sean Graham who tried to sell NB Power to Quebec in a secret deal. It's the same Sean Graham who led a $70 million taxpayer money to ATCON through Cabinet. It's the same Sean Graham that was found guilty of conflict of interest in that very matter. And so I think the Minister has to explain to this House why he is allowing this previous Liberal Premier to take Chinese investors through a facility that is a secure facility that is under his control.
Honourable Minister of Energy and Mines.
First of all, the government of Sean Graham did not sell MB Power, and at the same time, he was part of the, I can go back to Bernard Lord if you want to talk about potential sales of MB Power. Bernard Lord took the Hydro-Quebec CEO to Larry's Gulch. I know you guys are very familiar with Larry's Gulch, Mr. Speaker, but he took that to talk about the potential sale of MB Power at that time. So we have no lessons to learn from the opposition, but it's unfortunate, time and time again, as the Premier mentioned earlier, it's all about politics. It's all about living in the past, Mr. Speaker. It's like we take a doll of the member from Fredericton, York, and with a string in the back, and we just pull it, and we just keep hearing the past all over again and again and again. Mr. Speaker, we were left with a $600 million deficit taken office, Mr. Speaker. We have some tough choices ahead, choices that the former government did not want to make, Mr. Speaker. But we're ready to make those choices, hard choices with New Brunswickers. The only people missing at that table, Mr. Speaker, is the ideas from the opposition.
Member for Fredericton West Hanwell.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I always love to hear the history lesson from member opposite. At the same time, we are looking to the future here on this side of the House. And in fact, today we are going to debate a bill that was introduced by this government just yesterday about an amendments to the Crown Construction Act. And that act specifically seeks an exemption for major capital projects from NB Power, such as the sale or refinancing of Mactaquac Dam. So I'm wondering, is Sean Graham somehow involved in a deal to refinance or sell Mactaquac Dam? And can the Minister give us some clarity into this matter?
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I have to get up yet again. I have to take issue with what's being said by the member opposite. He said, I think 3 times, Mr. Speaker, that the opposition cares about the future of New Brunswick. And then right after, Mr. Speaker, he starts talking about 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. And what's incredible, Mr. Speaker, it's not like we don't have something to discuss in the present. It's not like we don't have something to discuss, Mr. Speaker, that is incredibly important for the future of New Brunswick. We have showed New Brunswickers in an unprecedented, transparent way the decisions that we have to make, the choices that we have to make, Mr. Speaker, to get our province on a strong financial footing so we can invest in the priorities of New Brunswickers, so we can invest in job creation, so we can invest in education, and so we can invest in health care. So while the member opposite says that he cares about the future of New Brunswick, Mr. Speaker, stop talking about an election that happened years ago and that they won, Mr. Speaker. They have to be reminded that they went through one just recently that they lost, Mr. Speaker.